might be patchy at times, so we'll just stick it out.
Yeah.
Oops, I started recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I have the pleasure of having Honey C. Golden today. She's such a delight. I first saw her in an interview with Janine, and I've been following her ever since, listening to her wisdom, and I think she's got a lot of interesting information to share. So welcome, Honey. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me, Anina. I'm doing good. It's morning over here. It's nighttime over there. So
Yep.
I'm awake.
That's
Yeah,
the
it
most
takes me
important
a
thing.
while in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm also not a morning person.
I am a
But
morning
delighted to
person.
have you.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Go
are a
ahead.
morning person.
Yeah, we just get up too early. We get up usually around 4,
Sure.
which is too early. Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, you get a lot done
No.
in the morning, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
can imagine. Honey, for those that don't know you, just a quick snapshot of, how you got to do what you do today.
Okay. So since I was really little, I grew up in a hippie community. Obviously, my name is Honey, so my parents are hippies. And really, intuition has been at the forefront for me for most of my life. And I learned this kind of amazing program on how to talk to your higher being. And I've been doing that for about 8 years now, like in a very intense way. And I went through what's called the death of ego. And so I'm pretty much like just constantly connected. So it's been a really interesting experience, and I'm a healer. So I've been using that to go into the Akashic records, find people's information that they need to help with their healing, tell them where they're from. I also do what's called zone techniques. So I've been doing that. And I'm not taking individual appointments anymore, but I am doing a lot of group healing and stuff like that. So one of the biggest things probably that people know me for is finding out that Earth is a toroidal field. So, and that's hard for a lot of people, exciting for others. But I
It
was
instantly
basically pulled up
resonated
and
with me.
shown that, and that I put it on YouTube. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you've got to watch that video, because when you drew that sketch, it like instantly resonated with me. Obviously people have been flat earth, round earth,
Mhm.
arguing about
Yeah.
the fact, and then it's kind of neither, and it's kind of both also at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we've been in a flat area on Earth.
yeah.
So it's felt flat. So really everybody is kind of correct. The sphere thing is not correct. Like it's not a perfect sphere at all. But it's a whole lot bigger than we ever thought it was, which is
Yeah,
exciting.
how exciting is that? Where do you
Mhm.
think we'll be seeing the rest of Earth?
Well, we're kind of in an alternative like situation right now for ascension. I do think that we will probably go back fairly soon, depending on us. And we'll be able to see everything. So really, like the whole thing, the whole experience of what we're going through right now is morphing and changing almost every day. We've been going through this intense period of releasing. So I don't know if you've been feeling it, but a lot
Yeah.
of exhaustion, a lot of angst.
Yeah.
And it's called like the mother wound. Is what we've been going through.
Tell us more about that.
Well, that came from the Anunnaki. So the Anunnaki were basically, you could think of them as the Egyptians in the past. Because that is kind of a, like, what would you call that? An ancestor of them. But the Anunnaki would take the babies from the humans right away. So you would birth a baby and they would steal it. So that was quite a wound that had to be healed, because it comes down through every ancestral line. So all of the human systems, the body remembers that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I was just chatting to Mark Atwood as well, and obviously he was just banned from this platform
I know.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, all the ancestral trauma that is just perpetuating as well as we speak. If we think about 1 billion children going missing over the last couple of decades alone, that means all of us must have been, uh, at the hand of those beings at some point in our lives. So we carry that trauma. It's just perpetuating into, through our ancestors, and so there's a lot of healing to do there.
There is a lot of healing. I think we're pretty close to getting through the mother wound, and then we have the male aspect, so you also have to deal with that, and we're in the middle of that. That's already started, so I think we're coming to the other side of a lot of it.
Yeah, it feels like it's getting lighter. It's getting, there's still a little bit of exhaustion, but I'd say there's sort of the shadow sides that have been kind of wanting to kind of creep out and rear their heads. That for me is kind of now subsided a little bit. It's getting definitely a much lighter, and yeah, I'm quite excited for where we are. Honey, before we started recording, you said you had some interesting information on the financial system and where we are in this whole process. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So we're getting really close, it feels like to me. And I just watched a reading from Ashala, which she does beautiful card readings, but she's also very intuitive. And it's something that we've been manifesting quite a bit, is just getting the financial system switched over without having so much drama or / trauma of the banks actually crashing in a big way. So it's been really interesting. I asked my whole Telegram group to help manifest that. And I think I'm going to actually do a little video about how to manifest so people can do it, but it feels very good right now. It doesn't feel like
and you said it feels close as well.
Yeah, it feels close. It feels, I think the BRICS countries will be the first ones to really see it, which includes Africa. And most of the foundation for the new monetary system, as far as like the actual, rocks, I should do this one. This one. So as far as that goes, that is mostly coming from Africa. So that's going to be like the foundation of the gold and everything that backs the money.
Do you think there's going to be a revaluation in RV soon? Because I feel like that's really going to push Africa onto the front of the queue, so to speak, because we are one of the richest continents.
Yeah, I do. And I think it will become very fair very quickly for everybody. And what I've been getting for a while too is that most of the countries that have all the housing that they need, and they have most of the things that they need, like they have enough cars, they have enough water, they have everything that they need. Most of the younger people will come from those countries and go into the countries that need those things, and they will help build it out. So that's what I've been
like
seeing.
Humanitarian projects.
Yeah, the projects. And a lot of that money that comes from the reevaluation will go directly back to Africa very quickly. And then it will just be massive projects starting very quick. Yeah.
So what is your feeling around, I always tell people, like, I'm living in a BRICS country, however, there's so much corruption still. And for us, it's very difficult to understand when they talk about rolling out CBDC soon and all these things. So it's hard to fathom that we're going to be one of the sort of front runners for this new system when we see all this corruption around us. And one wonders, is there a continuity of government going on in the background? What is really going on? Because, for all intents and purposes, most of us know that we are at the mercy of the monarchy, as we have been for a long time, and the WEF under the control and the thumb of those people. What do you think is really going on in the background, or if you can?
I see it as all under white hat control in the background, and basically they're trying to get people to say no. So people are saying no in a lot of countries, and I'm even surprised at the United States, because I've seen some actual protests, because it seemed like in the US it took forever for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah.
But they're protesting like in schools and stuff like that. But they want people to be aware of how ugly it could have been and how painful it could have been before it gets switched over, because people have to want to be sovereign. A lot of people,
Yeah,
they're fine to just go along with stuff as long as it's not too painful, but it's still slavery. So I
yeah,
think you froze.
that's the big thing. People don't want
Yeah.
to wake up, because until it really, oh yeah, I froze for a little while. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I
Yeah.
hear you.
So until it gets really bad, some people are just not prepared to wake up, and until they really feel it in their pocket, and until some people believe we're going to be brought to the precipice, to the absolute cliff edge before this ship turns around. But as you say, we have to try and manifest a smooth transition. You don't
Yeah.
think we're going to be brought to a near-death civilization event?
I feel like we've already hit that almost. People do need to feel it for a few days, like a extreme drama, so that they're like, well, this is not what I want. How could my life be this? What are we doing on this planet? What are we doing here? They need to feel that, but it doesn't have to last very long. And I've always gotten it would be between 3 and 9 days of yuckiness. And that's shock. There does have to be a shock. Just like you're not really willing to leave a relationship until you get a big shock, usually, or else it takes you forever to do it. So I think you froze again.
Exactly.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, even if the power goes on, the Wi-Fi signal is still a bit patchy at times. So endure it, I guess.
Yeah.
But the audio has been good on my side, at least, even though there's been some images.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that is, personally, I'm very excited for it to come. The one good thing I would say is that, the BRICS summit happening in South Africa August. So, Ms. P of the R country is expected to come, obviously, but, some of our political parties are threatening to arrest him. That he's going to be arrested, and then actually our governing party, which is known to be pretty corrupt, has said, screw you guys, he come anytime, he's welcome here. And that kind of gives me a glimmer of hope. So maybe there's, as you say, white hat control behind the scenes, in ensuring this thing moves forward in the way it needs to move forward.
Yeah. I think in Australia there was a premier that quit yesterday. Oh, here she is. Yeah, so everything is kind of moving forward for many countries right now.
Yeah, very exciting. So, Honey, tell us a little bit more about what else you're working on. What are you kind of seeing going on in the world, in the work that you do?
I have a school. So at honeyseagolden.com, there's a school, and we do a lot of esoteric stuff and a lot of healings. And that's one of my projects, is to actually have a school, but I want it to become brick and mortar and kind of create art. So art and culture and all of that is going to become huge in the future. So doing that, doing self-sustaining, like, electric culture and good water practices and all that kind of stuff at that school, and then also learning how to garden and build and do all the things that we've been held back from. So learning new techniques and doing new things, that's my goal. And I was kind of given the idea to get it started early, so it's online right now. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely put a link for that. I remember watching your episode on creating parallel communities and societies, and I was just like, wow, that just so resonates. It's 100% what I'm seeing. And that is like, okay, we need to get Honey on the show. It's just, I'm just feeling so much resonance with what you're saying and what you're seeing for the future. So yeah, that's wonderful. We're just going back to living, as integrated communities and supporting one another, having respect for nature, living in harmony with nature, and just embracing again, all of these natural wonders that we were born with all around us, but we've just neglected and sort of left behind in the pursuit of other things that are really not important for us.
Right.
And of course, that's part of it's part of the MK Ultra to make us believe we need things that we don't need, and that is actually not good for us. So it's going back to basics in a way.
Yeah, it will be back to basics, but with new tech. So
yeah.
I
was just going to say, for me, it's quite interesting. We're going back to living in harmony with nature as communities, permaculture, and all these things. But then, how are we going to see all the technology integrate with that, and finding that balance between, living in harmony with nature, but also using high tech? How do you see that?
I do see that. The intention behind it is really super important. You have to have good intention. It has to have a good frequency, which most of our tech has not had a good frequency. Like, it's been bad for the human body. So that will change. I feel like we will actually see glass pads, like you see on, I don't know, like Star Trek or whatever. We will see that. I don't feel like the phones are going to be so important anymore. We're going to have telepathy, and we'll probably have some kind of like flip phone type thing. I think it'll just go back to pure communication. It won't be about a whole bunch of apps and all that anymore.
Yeah. Maybe the phones will be used maybe for banking, not banking, but like exchanging digital currency, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of it, our communication, we're going to start learning to communicate telepathically better. A lot of people are talking obviously about the letter 17 phone coming out, or the quantum phone.
I don't know about that.
You don't see that?
Phone. Yeah, I used to work in phones like that. I used to manage a phone like store, and the phone, the body of the phone is extraordinarily old that they show in those ads. I do think we will get new tech, and it will be free. I do get that, but I don't think it's going to look like that. I always keep getting that, oh, that's just somebody trying to capitalize on what's going on. Because I think for a while you could actually buy them still, or you could buy them. And I was like, that is an ancient phone.
Yeah, it's going to look pretty ancient when all of the free technology has been introduced to us. Maybe it'll also be a bridge. Who knows?
It could be a bridge. But I think that the current technology, what I've been getting from my higher self, is the current stuff will work up until they hand you a new one. And it's already set up in the towers to do that. So along with free electricity, all that stuff, it's already set up. Everything.
You think it's set up around the world?
Yeah.
It was interesting. Charlotte did a reading a couple of months ago where she said South Africa might be one of the first countries to start seeing this free energy because of all of the issues we have, obviously, with our power grid system.
Yeah.
Which is very
and I feel like some of the things you're having a problem with as far as that system goes are engineered.
Yeah. I also feel like it's kind of part of a movie playing out.
It is. It's part of the wake up call. I feel like people have been really picked on in that area. And it's almost like they've gotten so used to it, it has to be extreme in order to say no
Yeah.
to it. Yeah. And that's happening in a lot of countries, I feel like. It's unfortunate how like scary life could really be in some countries. You know, living in shacks and doing that and not knowing that there's something so much easier. And then you have the decadence of other countries too, where everything is just like disposable.
Yeah.
So there needs to
What I've
be.
just realized is we actually don't need as much stuff. You know, I've seen people living in shacks just so happy and content and grateful. And,
Yeah.
you know, they see people with white picket fences just so unhappy and, you know, ungrateful about everything that they have. So
it really is perception. For me, I'm excited to get rid of all the plastic and to see people have a comfortable home that is like going to last a long time, and to take the focus off of that, off of survival, and put it on to what can we create and what things can we do together, and basically be like humanity is meant to be, you know.
creative
So,
beings,
yeah,
powerful beings we're supposed to be.
very.
Once we get that flight or flight kind of fight or flight syndrome away and the fear for, you know, just survival every day and protecting ourselves, once all of that is gone, we're going to start to be able to use our creativity to create incredible things.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be amazing. And we will have a lot of the other things like replicators and things that help us clean our homes and stuff like that. But that's not going to happen immediately. Some of that will be brought out as humanity's really ready for it, I feel like. And there will be people that will create it because the patents are already here. So just the creation of it and being allowed to create it for the future and not being, you know, offed for bringing something great to the world is going to be just amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it? I was wondering, I saw that with the replicators that they'll even be able to create food, and I was like, I wouldn't want to eat food that's been replicated. What is your view on that?
Yeah, to me, I'm not as excited about the food part either. I kind of feel like we're going to change our diets quite a bit anyway, because we're going from carbon based to crystalline or diamond based. So the carbon is getting more solid and we're going to contain more light in the future. So I keep getting that we're going to be mainly fruit based. So we're going to eat a lot of fruit, and there's going to be fruit trees everywhere. So you can pick your lunch as you go along and have a snack and not have a dish to wash. Or like,
amazing.
That's going to be wonderful. Yeah.
Imagine that. No more dishwashers either.
Yeah.
Do you see that kind of switching on quite quickly with something like a solar flash, or do you see it developing slowly? How do you see that transition from carbon-based to crystalline, and, you know, with that, our
We're in the
diets also
process
changing?
right now. So some people, their skin is beginning to sparkle when they go out in the sun. Some people, they've already, so I don't know if you saw this, but they changed the position of the human heart. So it went from being on the left side to being in the middle. So that's part of the switch over. And you can find that on Google, you know, but I was surprised by that. But we have the crystalline body, that we have all of the template for it within our body now. So we're in the process of switching over, and it really is, how much are you willing to let go of, how much trauma, limiting beliefs, all of that kind of stuff. is going to bring that crystalline body in faster for you. So, yeah.
Because I think you were having this discussion. I think it was you, and I really resonated with that as well. I mean, we already exist in all of these different dimensions. It's just now about integrating, kind of bringing it all into the body. Like we're already in 5D, even beyond. So now it's just about integrating it into our body so we can experience that embodied ascension and integrate, and also integrate and download, as you said, the higher self into the body.
Right. Yeah, the higher self is downloading into the body. And then we're just going to have the oversoul at that point, and then all the parallels. And a really good movie to watch is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It really just like clicked for me. Like instantly I could see, wow, it's already there. We can just tap into whatever we want.
We just have to allow ourselves to do it and quit looking at all the stuff we've created. You know, oh, well, this is my house. This is the way I behave. This is what I do every day. Start getting outside your comfort zone a little bit, and it really makes changes happen faster.
Yeah. Belief is such an important part of it, isn't it? So a limiting belief is going to limit us from getting there. If we do believe, you know, there's all these other dimensional selves or versions of ourselves, then we can have access to it. It's amazing. I was listening to a beautiful channeling of Saint Germain. I forgot the guy's name. It was on Next Level Soul podcast. He was saying you simply have to allow for the divinity to come into you, and that for me was so powerful. You don't have to go and do a whole bunch of stuff. Just allow that divinity, feel it, believe it's there, and you know it will download into your being.
Yeah, it's just like when you're manifesting something, you need to do something when it shows up for you. Like there was a new job that was available and I had to go apply for it, right? So you have just a little bit that you have to do and it will work out. So that's the way to manifest. But if it's really, really, really hard, then you have limiting beliefs in the way still.
So you think, you know, anything that you want to manifest, essentially you can, if you have the belief that it will manifest for you.
Yep, I do. Yep, but it's amazing. I've manifested some really good stuff over the years, and it never totally clicked until recently what I was doing. But we manifest all day long and we're very powerful. So manifest good stuff for yourself. Yeah.
Sometimes we're unaware of all the negative talk, right? So we may be manifesting negative things around us, and we're not even aware of it, you know. And who knows? Sometimes it can just be like a little entity attachment, just like putting negative stuff into your head, and you're perpetuating that and believing that, and you are manifesting that in your life. So it's so important to become super aware of all of your thoughts and, you know, words and actions.
Yeah, and being aware of who you're hanging out with and what they're putting in your mind, and spending maybe a little less time with them if they're extraordinarily negative. And then when you are with them, just say cancel, like don't take it in. Because we believe everything. The subconscious believes everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I've heard somewhere that, and I'm not sure if you said this, but some of us are kind of holding on to some extra body right now. Like, let's say extra body where maybe we're struggling to lose weight, or we've got a little bit of padding that we'd like to have, and that is part of the process. I can't remember if that was you or someone else.
I don't know, but we have been holding on to other people's burdens. That's for sure. This morning I went into somebody had a great idea. They said, oh, I went up and I cut ties or changed contracts with my body. And I was like, what? This is brilliant. So I went up and I cut the contract that my body needs to hang on to weight for self-protection. And I'm really excited to see what that does. So, you know, you can go into the Akashic records and basically change your contracts because that's your right to do that. But a lot of the contracts are old and expired that we've been doing, like especially with our parents and, you know, people that we've been saying, oh, well, I'm going to shelter you or save you from this or that. So it's really a good idea if you can to go up there and change those contracts as they are expired and if they're not in your highest good.
Yeah, just to like declare you're ready to let go of them, let go of the burden, the basically the burden that you've been carrying around, and the protection, as you said, it's no longer needed.
No, it really isn't needed. And a lot of us have been doing that. A lot of us women, especially, I think we have tried to protect through weight, and it's pushed our hormones off balance. I did this thing called the body code the other day with a friend, and she's amazing. And she found that one of the glands in my brain was not working right. So it was messing up my metabolism. So she released that for me, released the emotion that was stuck to it. So that kind of stuff it's very relevant.
Do you think all of that, do you think we still need to do all of that work before ascension? Do you think we still have a lot of work ahead of us, or is it kind of just automatically we can just start to kind of let go of, we don't have to like work through it or go there or go into the emotion, right?
No, you don't have to dive in. You can feel it and just release it. Like feel it in your body, because the body is what really needs to release. So if you believe it, what it is, or you find out what it is, even if you don't know what it is. So let's say it's like this, I don't know, some kind of an injury. Just feel it and really get into it for maybe 60 seconds. And then just release it. Say, that's no longer mine anymore. I'm cutting that contract. I'm letting that go. I'm done. And it really works. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not always that dramatic for us. We don't have to go and experience it all over. If there was some sort of wound that we need to heal, we can literally just let it go.
Yeah. I think the way of psychology, I was going to be a psychiatrist when I was a kid. When I went to college, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go be a psychiatrist. But what they do is they just reinstall it because they're making you relive it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people that for years just go to therapy and they never get better.
Yeah. I know people like that. It's sad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really sad. When we start embracing our own power and we realize that we can cut the cords or remove the cords whenever we want to.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have to hang on to anything anymore that's on the way.
Yeah. That's so exciting, isn't it?
It is. It is. And we're going to go into a point where our body is like resetting as well. So we're aging backwards. We're feeling really good. We're not so dependent on food and herbs and all that kind of stuff. I know I haven't been sick for a year, probably. Like I haven't gotten anything very severe for a year. I used to be sick all the time. So
yeah, my health has been pretty good as well. I really feel very good as well. Yeah, I mean, I know you talk a lot about, sometimes people just need minerals. They don't realize that, they hate, your Q&A with Diane, I listen to often, and a lot of people are having issues, whether it's sleep issues or whatever. And many times it's just as simple as, just making sure you're getting the minerals that you need right now.
Yeah, burdock root is probably my favorite, and it also cleans the blood. And then magnesium. Almost nobody has enough magnesium in their body. And that's why we want chocolate all the time. Like chocolate. You know, it's because we're low on magnesium. So
Wow.
not
Yeah,
that
I started
chocolate's
taking
bad.
Yeah, I started taking a very good magnesium about 18 months ago, and I haven't looked back.
Mm,
I must say. Kinesiologist told me you don't have enough magnesium, and she recommended a really good one, which I'm still taking. A burdock root I still need to try and find here in South Africa. I've heard you speak about it, and it's very exciting. Um, yeah, in this
yeah.
transition period, still need a little bit of help.
Yeah. The crystalline body is being built with minerals, basically. So the switch over, if you think about how carbon becomes a diamond, like it's under pressure, under stress, you know, and the stress is the trauma release, I think. So we've been doing ancestral lines of trauma too. So that's been the pressure, but sea moss is great too for minerals, or Celtic sea salt. Like there's a lot of stuff you can get your minerals from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful thing. Yeah, so a lot of people feel that it's going to be very difficult still around the world in the coming months and even years. Could that be some people that might be holding on to like a negative timeline? What is your feeling?
Yeah, there's a lot of souls that were younger that are in the process of going now that weren't ready for this ascension process. Like they're still very 3D. They're only focused on the physical, so they can't get into the spiritual, like they're just stuck. So a lot of those souls are leaving and going into a new experience that's more 3D for themselves, so they can continue to learn. But I don't feel like there's that many holding it back right now. You know? Yeah, I kind of lost the question in the middle of my
It's kind of just morphing into its own subject. And then regarding the solar flares, I heard you say that it's kind of transpiring almost as like mini solar flares happening kind of all the time. Do you think we're not going to have a major solar flash? It will be sort of just mini ones rolling out?
I think
Will there
some
be
of
a
the parallels got a big one. Yeah,
Hmm.
but and I was predicting a big one, but then it seems like we switched timelines, and then it's been month after month of solar events. And that is easier on the body, but it also slowed stuff down, which was annoying for everyone. It's like, let's just get it done already, I don't know if we'll see a major solar event anymore on the current timeline. We may have a solar event that is maybe a little bit of a shock, but I don't feel like people's bodies or anything are going to experience like that massive, oh, I just have to go to bed for 3 days kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people were obviously predicting a big solar event in 2026. Some predicted in 28. Some time ago, it was 32, like 2032. So it looks like things have kind of sped up, or we kind of maybe jumped timelines a little bit, or
yeah.
But that the big solar flash was predicted to be pretty dramatic.
I got it was going to be major, and I got it was spring of 2023.
Oh, wow.
So instead, it's been this like every day there's more solar activity. Yeah. But it's been intense for people, I would say.
Do you think enough people are awake, though, for us to kind of move the needle into the next
No,
reality?
I think that there are a lot of people that are awake to a point, and having some kind of push will be enough to get them there. But also the ones that are unwilling to awaken, those souls are actually going. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that their body goes. So
Mm.
there's walkouts and walk-ins happening right now. There are bodies that will not change, like all that trauma is coded in the body and the body will not release it. So those are the bodies that will probably go. Because there's consciousness in the body as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like,
The whole thing
like almost
is
like memory in the body, like the body holds memory. Or...
the body holds all the memory for the soul, but also it has consciousness and wishes of its own. Now, you know when your soul is absent. So say you're working and doing a lot of stuff at night as a soul, and you wake up and you're just like, oh, you feel like you got hit by a truck. That means the soul is absent. But as you begin to wake up, the soul feeds itself back in. But you can still get up and go to the bathroom and do all that kind of stuff. You can make your coffee without the soul there. So you have some consciousness within the body.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think everyone somewhere in their life maybe can recognize that the soul was maybe not there, that we're a little bit unconscious in how we went about our daily lives. I certainly can remember times like that. But those with the strong connection will bring it back into the body.
Yeah. And it comes back into the body during the day anyway. But sometimes you have to call it back in too, and call all your pieces. So like if you're exhausted all the time, then you probably are kind of fragmented. So you want to ask for all of your soul pieces to come back. So the soul has been kind of disjointed at some point.
Wow, that's interesting. And I'm sure you address some of that in your healing classes. Tell us a bit more about what you go through.
Yeah, they were fun. The last one we did was called The Greatest Love of All with Abby. So Abby and I did one, and we taught everybody how to love themselves. And then I gave grids to people's higher being, which is like a template, so that they knew how to be healthy and wealthy and love themselves and self-belief, and also how to release trauma. So we did all these things, in that workshop, and it was beautiful. It was really good.
Yeah, that looked beautiful. I actually wanted to be part of that. I can't believe it's already gone. But I'm sure you'll have more.
Well, I'm sure Abby and I will do more, and the recording is up.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be out for sale, and we code everything into the videos. I do this little thing for $9 a month called Healing with Honey. And every week you get a video to help you heal from different things. And that's been really good for people. So really energy is the main thing. So if you can get the energy into the video, then you can get the same result. Yeah.
You're doing wonderful work. Doing really wonderful work.
I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. And I didn't necessarily want to do it. My higher self was like, get on YouTube, And I finally did. It took me like a month. And that really changed my whole life, So if you get out of your comfort zone just a little bit, you can change everything.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, YouTube was a pretty scary place to be as well. I just got that call as well. I said, if you've got a voice, you've got to use it. You can't hide it. I was like, it's so scary. Even though I've done hundreds of media interviews over the years in my, previous life, which is 3D, kind of very 3D. But when I was called to do this, it was so scary because, gonna kind of lay your soul bare to a certain extent. We all like to hide behind the facade, but there's no more hiding. Right?
No, there's no more hiding.
Be authentic. Yeah. Got to be authentic. We've got to be ourselves, and we've got to, be on purpose and be part of this mission to help Earth ascend.
Yeah. Yeah, and she is ascending and we are ascending. And I actually think that we're further along right now than I was expecting. It's just the stuff that is like the catalyst. So the catalysts are behind, like the politics and the money and that kind of stuff that was meant to wake people up. That's a little further behind than the humans are.
Yeah,
So
but
as that catches up, I think we're gonna like pop up even further, like in a huge way.
yeah, it looks like it's catching up quite quickly with all this
Yeah.
imminent disclosure and impeachments and all these things looming. It might just be like a champagne cork that just blows, the top off, and then everything is exposed, and you know things will
Yeah.
move pretty quickly.
I feel like it's gonna go very quickly as it finally is publicly exposed, like completely. I feel like then it's gonna be very quick. Because every day they're exposing something new right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
which
is
is
every
great.
day.
Hmm.
You
But
mentioned just now Africa might be one of the first to change over, but I feel like I've always felt like the US is kind of the catalyst. Things have to pop off in the US first, and then the rest of the world will kind of follow.
well, I think the scary part has to happen in the US
Mm,
mainly. I
yeah,
don't really see that it has to happen all over the world. Because the US is what everybody looks at. So that's where the trauma or drama has to happen.
mm, yeah,
But everything is in place. Like when I look at the system, the quantum system, it's ready. All that has to be done is the switch has to be flipped. That's it.
mm.
So it's
So do
ready
you think,
now.
maybe I've asked this already, and apologies if I'm repeating myself, but the CBDC, do you think it's kind of just a front for, to kind of really scare the hell out of us, and that suddenly that's going to flip over into actually being a quantum system instead?
Yeah, I do. I do. I
Mm,
see that it's kind of like what would you call it? Like a film, like an overlay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And a
yeah,
lot of it is right now. A lot of those 3-letter agencies are all kaput really in the background. And even black, and I'm gonna say rock, so
yeah.
I can put this on YouTube. Um, I feel like they're completely taken over and now they're being used to change the way everything looks for corporations and all of that.
Mm. I mean, we've had so many bankruptcies also the last 2 years. I was just looking at a list again, like yesterday. The list is very long. I mean, big companies that,
Oh yeah.
they may have gone into liquidation. So people may not even know because the stores are still open, but in the background, they went into administration or whatever to try and save what's there to save. But you just have to look at that and all the resignations to understand that, a lot of those middlemen and corrupt corporations have already been removed, including, you know, companies like Victoria's Secret and,
Yeah. So many are gone. And if they're not gone, they're in the middle of falling. So there's several in the US that are falling right now. And it's all
yeah.
because of their advertising campaigns.
Mm.
Yeah.
So then I guess we can assume that you don't believe people are going to lose their money. Maybe some of the banks may fail, but that will be mirrored, and people, there might be, for a moment they think everything is gone, but then, a few days later, oh, it's actually been mirrored by the
Yeah.
QFS. Bring this in now.
And I do believe that the money will all come right back. Um, now 401ks and things like that and the stock market, that's more iffy to me.
Mm.
But I also get that people will have almost like a straw man trust.
Yeah.
So they'll receive money for a little while and it'll keep growing, and then eventually they'll just have their straw man.
Yeah.
And it will kind of, I feel like that'll probably take like a year so that people can start to come out of their scarcity mindset because when you're in that, like if you win the lotto, then you spend it all and then you have nothing. So I feel like there's going to be some kind of a steps program for that.
Yeah. I feel like that rings true for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, we are in a very abundant universe. And that's been the big trick, is that, you know, we have to conserve everything and nothing, you know, we have to be careful with everything and stay small and do all this stuff. That's all a lie.
Yeah. There's enough for everyone, more than enough for everyone to thrive. That scarcity, they don't even need all that stuff. You know, I'm talking about the cabal, whatever. They don't even need all the money, but they hold it just to keep us enslaved. That's where they were controlling us. So when all that goes away, it will take a little while to adjust to the abundance of what is all around us, I guess.
I think so. I think it'll take a year or two for people to totally come out of it and to be like, oh, and by the time we have it, I really don't think money's going to be that important either.
Yeah.
So we'll have all this money, but we'll be like, well, you know, doesn't really matter because you have everything you need already. Yeah. So
as soon as you remove the scarcity, it's no longer that desirable, right? So you have it now, so you don't need, you know.
Yeah. And I think people that are really focused on the material are not going to care about that as much. And if they can't get out of it, then they are going to be part of the people that go. You know, if you just care about your 10 Ferraris or whatever, that's not really relevant for the future.
Yeah. Absolutely agree. How exciting. What an exciting time to be alive.
It really is. And the more excited we get and the more we believe that it's going to be beautiful, the more beautiful it will become faster.
Yeah, that's what we need to focus on, just how beautiful it's all going to be. It's the 100 monkey effect. If enough of us are visualizing that and manifesting that, it's going to happen sooner than we even would hope for in our wildest dreams.
Yes, you got that right. That's for
Wonderful.
sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, honey. It's been so nice to finally have you on the show, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yeah, I'll have you on mine. That would be great.
Wonderful. So I'm going to put all your links in the description below so people know where to find you, your courses. If there's anything specific that you want people to be aware of, please send that to me and I'll put it in the description. And you know where to find Honey. She does amazing work. So, and yeah, very, very important role in this big transition.
Yeah, thank you, Anina. And when I put this on YouTube, I'm going to put Anina's information below. So go subscribe.
Thank you so much, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Until the next time, sending you lots of love and we'll chat soon. Bye, everyone.